American voters.
Lee Carter is president and pollster with Ms. Lansky and Partners, and she put the president to the dial test. She had a whole bunch of people watch the sound bites yesterday, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so let's watch the lines. Once again, the red indicates Republicans, the yellow independents, the blue for Democrats. First soundbite, the president and his friend Rocket Man.
The United States has great strength and patience. But if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime.
Well,
so you can see that Republicans and independents gave this an A, Democrats a D-. But you could really see the dials with the Democrats fall to the bottom when the president called Kim Jong-un Rocket Man, while the Republicans and independents really liked it. So I think it's a fascinating divide. A lot of the Democrats said, I think this is a little scary that he's going this way, where Republicans and independents were like, look, I like the strong talk.
Well, the independents, the key with the Republicans, that's what sticks out with me. The Iranian deal, not getting a lot of play, but what Secretary of State Tillerson said later, that we have a problem, that there's an expiration date on it. But the president had no, wasn't a gray area. It was black and white.
That's right.
He has a huge problem with the deal President Obama cut.
The Iran deal was one of the worst and most one-sided transactions the United States has ever entered into. Frankly, that deal is an embarrassment to the United States, and I don't think you've heard the last of it, believe me. It is time for the entire world to join us in demanding that Iran's government end its pursuit of death and destruction. It is time for the regime to free all Americans and citizens of other nations that they have unjustly detained.
So you can see that Republicans gave this an A+, independents an A-, and Democrats, for a while you couldn't see it, they came up at the end, they gave this a D overall. What I thought was really fascinating is the word most associated with Republicans and independents on this speech was strength, and with Democrats was dangerous.
Right.
So really different reaction there between
Which is amazing because there's major Democrats voted against that deal. Senator Schumer, Senator Cardin, Senator Menendez all hated it.
It's a very good point.
He also reminded all of those world leaders how much we contribute. Watch this, watch the dials, and we'll talk about it.
The United States is one out of 193 countries in the United Nations, and yet we pay 22% of the entire budget and more. In fact, we pay far more than anybody realizes. The United States bears an unfair cost burden, but to be fair, if it could actually accomplish all of its stated goals, especially the goal of peace, this investment would easily be well worth it.
So I thought this was really interesting. You can see Republicans and independents gave this an A. Democrats responded a little bit better here. They gave this a C-. So when the president was talking about theory, in principle, how we want to contribute and participate in the UN, that it is an investment, much more positive reaction from the Democrats, much more afraid when he started getting into the specifics of North Korea and Iran and Venezuela.
So it's interesting. You were here a couple of weeks ago, and you thought that his core audience was a little squishy.
Yeah.
They're back, and so are the independents.
Yeah, they said that this speech was one of the best speeches they've heard from the president since the State of the Union address. So this was really, really strong for those independents, really strong for Republicans. And there were moments even the Democrats came around, but there are